Welcome everyone to the second day of this first edition of Global Goals Jam. Um, Today we come together to celebrate all the participants that decide to come together for this first edition of this event, and to learn from each other what we created the day before, and to give each other feedback, and also to listen to fantastic keynotes. But I will introduce the entire timeline in a minute. First of all, I would like to welcome the people who are watching us on YouTube. This session will be recorded, so you can always rewatch it later. And we welcome all comments and questions also through the stream on YouTube. Today's schedule is filled with two fantastic keynotes we're very lucky to host. One from Rugmani Prabhakar from the International Association of Human Values, and from a second keynote from Miriam van Laarhoven, who was also one of our challenge owners. So we're very excited and grateful to host these two great keynote speakers, which will be followed by a short meditation session offered by one of our kind sponsors and partners, The Art of Living, who thank you so much for joining us today. And the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chiara. And hello from Bangalore City in India. It's a cloudy day out there. It's about 25 degrees. Bangalore is towards the middle of the Deccan Plateau, towards the south. It's about 3,000 feet above sea level. So the temperatures here are pretty good. Okay. I've barely been out of my house since February. So the good thing is that it's given me a lot of time to think about the global goals. And I will share with you some of the things that I've thought about. Chiara, can I share screen?
Of course. I think you have the right to do that. Yes.
Okay, let's start right at the top. This is a conversation. It's not just about me, it's about all of you. So let's look at the most important thing in sustainable development, because that's the starting point with which we will take the entire flow of this conversation today. Now, who really is responsible for sustainable development? The government, the UN, industry, civil society, the people. You know, I've been working in development for almost 23 years now. And from my experience, these are my friends. These are the people I play with. These are the people I begin to talk to when I start my first project. These are the people I get my money from. These are the people I get technical advice from. These are the people I collaborate with. So in a normal world, these are the people who really are the ones that are holding my hand while I work on my various rural development initiatives. But that's in a normal world. Now, what happens in a situation like what happened? So what happened in February when suddenly our world turned upside down and everything that we know changed. Our entire reality changed. And the whole world had become a COVID world. My God, we've never seen an equalizer in our lifetime the way we are seeing it right now. What happens then? You know, as people in the developmental sector, as people in the developmental sector, the first thing that happened was money dried up. Money dried up from all our other projects and went into COVID. Money dried up from our free education projects. Money dried up from our other healthcare projects. Money dried up from our water projects, our solar projects, our waste management projects. We've been doing amazing work in sustainable chemical-free agriculture. Money dried up from there. Money dried up from the money that's supposed to the funding that's supposed to go into water. Now, that is what happens. Now, this is really tragic because the first bucket that gets kicked out of global budgets when there's a crisis like this is the charity bucket. The last time I saw this happen was in 2008 when we had the global financial crisis. And that's when the Millennium Development Goals were just beginning to do well. Malnutrition, poverty, healthcare, education, all of them were just beginning to make some kind of progress. And suddenly, when the economic crash happened, where did money go out of? Money went out of charity. And progress not just went back to where it started, it actually went further back. Years and years of good work that had happened was completely destroyed because of this.
Hey, Swati. How are you doing? Little bit.
So for years and years, the Art of Living, we are two organizations, the Art of Living and the International Association for Human Values. We are sister organizations. I didn't know that I was being introduced as a part of IAHV, International Association for Human Values, but we have the same founder with shared agendas. So wherever you see Art of Living, I'm also talking about the International Association for Human Values. So what was our model for sustainable development? We realized that so long as we are relying on external sources for development, we will always have to succumb to whatever global crisis comes in the way, and we are not going to be able to predict that. So long as frameworks and funds and external influences are going to impact the kind of work that we are going to do, we are just going to be as sustainable as the duration of the funding that's available. So we realized very early that we had to really look at another model that was completely out of the box, that thought completely laterally to be able to sustain the work that we are doing, not just now, but over a long, long time. So what we did was we really put people at the heart of development. We realized that if sustainable transformation had to happen, every person needs to be asking the question, what do I do to make sustainable transformation happen? And they're not going to be able to do that if they don't have the right frame of mind. Interestingly, today, according to WHO, 1 in 4 people are going to experience some kind of mental health issue at some point or the other in their life. And this is costing the global economy trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. So if we have to take care of development, we really have to take care of the people who are at the heart of development. And that is you and me. That really is you and me. So the Art of Living model really starts with the exercises that all of you went through yesterday. I don't know if all of you were there, but my colleagues, my friends, they did a session for all of you on breathing techniques, on how to manage the mind. And they also took you through some meditations. And I understand that from the feedback that I got was that your meditation experience was nice. So what is meditation? It's just the art of letting go and completely relaxing into yourself. So, over the years, we've done this for so many people. And each one of us right now are committed to the cause of development because of the positive benefits that we've had from meditation. So what we did was we started teaching our meditation and mindfulness workshops to a few people, and they taught it to more people, and they taught it to even more people. Today, we've impacted for 450 million people in 156 countries around the world. And the scope is huge. Now, the work that we've done in rural development was especially significant because we took our programs into the most vulnerable areas in India, in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, in Africa, in the Middle East, the ghettos of Chicago. And we began by teaching people these mind stress relieving techniques. And then we empowered them. We built self-esteem. We equipped them with skill sets. And when that happened, these people, many of whom were the most difficult people in their communities, these were people who had been rejected by their communities because of the trouble they were causing. These people became the change agents for transformation in their community. And the huge amount of work that we're doing globally is driven by people in this program called YLTP, which stands for the Youth Leadership Training Program. And I'm going to show you a video, a short video about this amazing person called Nathan from a village in Maharashtra. Maharashtra is where close to Bombay on the east, on the western coast of India. And he did the YLTP course, and you're going to watch his transformation. So he grew up without a father. His mother raised him with very, very little money. So this is an amazing story. He's going to be speaking in Marathi. Marathi is a language of Maharashtra, but there are subtitles, so you can have a look.
शिक्षण 12वी पर्यंत झाल्यानंतर मी गाव सोडलं. का तर कुटुंबाचा उदरनिर्वाहासाठी मला गाव सोडणं किंवा काम करणं आवश्यक आहे. मुंबईला जाऊन मग मी गाडीवर ड्रायव्हिंग करत होतो. ट्रक असतील, ट्रॅव्हल्स असतील, त्या मी चालवल्या. आणि तिथलं जीवन एकदम असं म्हणजे धावपळीचं जीवन होतं. एवढं 25-30 हजार रुपये महिन्याला भेटतात. असं 2009 साली मी YLTP गेला, मुंबई सोडली. आणि गावामध्ये गावामध्ये मग शेती करत जे बाकीचे काय आपण समाजासाठी करू शकतो. जलसंधारणाची समस्या होती, स्वच्छतेची होती, टॉयलेटची होती. ह्या ज्या समस्या होत्या त्यावर काम करायला मी सुरुवात केली. जोपर्यंत माझं गाव पाणी धारण करणार नाही किंवा आदर्श गावाकडे मी वाटचाल नाही करणार, त्या दिशेला मी जोपर्यंत चांगलं ज्या काही समस्यावर मात नाही तोपर्यंत मी माझं केस, दाढी आणि पायामध्ये चप्पल देखील नाही घालत. त्या अनुषंगानं मग मी काम करत गेलो आणि लोकच म्हणले किंवा तू जबाबदारी घे, म्हणजे अजून ह्याच्यापेक्षा अजून जास्त पटीने काम करता येईल.
चांगलं करतो त्यामुळे मला पण अभिमान वाटतो त्याचा.
आमचा जो वीक पॉईंट होता, प्लस पॉईंट कसा होईल, म्हणजे जी आपली ऑर्डर बँक आहे ती ऑर्डर बँक गावाने आपल्या ऑटोमॅटिक संस्थेच्या मदतीनं खूप मजबूत बनवली.
IAHV आणि आर्ट ऑफ लिव्हिंग या संस्थेच्या मुळे जायगाव आज दुष्काळ मुक्त झाले.
2019 साली महाराष्ट्रामध्ये प्रचंड दुष्काळाला सामोरं जायला लागलं. पण आपलं जायगाव हे असं एकमेव गाव होतं की त्या गावाला सकाळ संध्याकाळ 2 टायमिंगला पाणी येतं.
Nathan was elected the head of his village for the work that he was doing. And Nathan is just one of hundreds and thousands of young boys and girls from India and different parts of the world who have now taken responsibility for their communities, created transformations, become influencers, not just in their communities, but in the state that they live in. And a couple of them have gone on to receive national awards from the President of India for the work that they've done. This is such an extraordinary story of transformation. And I think the core of it is that we put people at the heart of development. So what really is our model for sustainable development? We call it the ABC of sustainable development: awareness, belongingness, and commitment. Now, suppose it was a school day and you had a bad night before. You wake up stressed and you're running into class and you're bumping into people. You're angry in your head. You have no awareness of what's happening to you. In the contrast, you've had a great day. You've woken up, you're fresh, you're feeling fantastic. You're getting into class, you're going into class. You're suddenly aware of everything around you, the people around you. You're aware as you're coming to the door that there's somebody behind you and maybe you should hold the door. And you walk into class and you can smile, see people, somebody says there's something to be done, and you put up your hand and say, yeah, I can do it, I can share responsibility. And then the commitment comes. And that really has been our model. As we've been able to bring techniques to show people how to relax their minds, their awareness about themselves has gone up. The sense of connectivity, not just with themselves, but with their environment, with the economic situation of people around them, with in their friendships, the entire level of connection and your belongingness goes up phenomenally high. And when that happens, commitment or service is a natural outcome of an aware and sensitive state of mind. You know, this didn't happen, none of this was planned. The work that we've done has not been planned. Today, I could put a presentation and told you this is what we've done. Today, we started in 1982. Today, I can give you frameworks, I can give you models. I know that so many studies are being done on the work that we've done globally in the impact space for development, but none of this was planned. And it was not planned because the only thing we did, our only planning was to go out and reach as many people as possible and give them tools and techniques to deal with their mind, deal with their emotion, relax their mind, and make them more relevant to themselves and the society that they live around with. So, you know, what happens in a situation like this is that when you're relaxed, you're no longer thinking, what about me? What about me? You're actually waking up in the morning and saying, no, what can I do for you? And this pretty much is our story of our journey from individual empowerment to community empowerment to our commitment to a higher global vision. And people got up one day and saw a tsunami happened, and there were two kinds of people, some of them who ran for shelter, and some of them who stood there and said, now what can I do to make a difference? Now, I've seen it happen even in this corona world, in the community that I live with. There are some people who're so scared, and they've barely been able to move. And I know that there's the incidence of domestic violence, mental illness, depression, anxiety has gone up hugely. And there are some people who've taken responsibility and said, now what can I do in the community that I've lived in? We've got a buzz of people who are running around to make things happen for the entire community. Now, what have we done? Now, people like Nathan, what had they done? Here are some of our impact numbers. These are our numbers in India. We've got numbers like this coming from all over the world. Water is a big space, river rejuvenation. This is a big space with water bodies drying up, and our entire agricultural economy and ecosystem depending on water. We've had people like Nathan bring water back into their communities, start agricultural practices, enhance livelihood, send their children back into school, bring lighting into the community. It is amazing the kind of work that has happened because people were able to bring water back into the communities. Natural farming, completely organic, chemical-free farming that is nutrient dense, that's taken the toxicity out of the system and has brought life back into toxic soils that have been destroyed by so much chemicals. The work that we've done in rural development, in solar energy, in women empowerment, skills development, we are there. We are there wherever there are issues to be addressed, because some person like Nathan got up and said, now, what can I do for the community? We educate over 70,000 first generation learners. That means these children are the first people in their entire family for generations and generations to know anything about education. So we are currently educating 70,000 children completely free of charge in different parts of India. Our prison programs. We've taken our stress relief programs into prisons. And, it's so interesting because the prisoners come back and say, it's because of you that we're here. And we say, what? And they say that if we had this wisdom, if we had these techniques, we wouldn't have committed the crime that we did to bring us into prisons. So we have a lot of work happening in prisons, and it's amazing. Some of them who are in the prison for a long time, they've gone on, done several of our programs, and they're today Art of Living teachers themselves, conducting our meditation programs in prisons. A lot of trauma relief. We've done a huge amount of work for COVID rehabilitation. In a country like ours, like in a country like India, millions of daily wage earners suddenly found themselves without a job, without transport when the country went into lockdown. They could not get back to their homes. This story was a global story. It was published all over the world. And our volunteers were out there all over the country, giving them meals, planning their evacuation back into their homes. We've had millions of people get involved with meditation during these times. Our online programs for meditations have gone up hugely. And this is not just for COVID. Every time there's a trauma, we are there to help to resolve it. So this is our presence today, 38 years, 156 countries, impacting 350 million people worldwide. Again, none of it was planned. It happened completely organically. So what really are takeaways from today's conversation? For me personally, I've been involved with the Art of Living for about 23 years now. And my 3 takeaways have been that responsibility increases power, and complaints, however justified, the complaint is the moment a complaint enters my mind, the moment a thought of a complaint enters my mind, I lose energy, I lose power. And the moment I take responsibility, however difficult the responsibility is, my personal experience is that things just begin to happen. Miracles begin to happen. Grace flows when you decide to take responsibility. I'm sure all of you here have experienced this. The moment you decide to take responsibility, you get a phone call saying, do you need some help? You meet somebody on the road, you tell them what they're doing. They say, we'd love to join you too. So my big takeaway in the last 23 years has been that responsibility increases power, however difficult the responsibility is. My second takeaway is that look to see how you can convert adversity into opportunity. The COVID case, either people were depressed and unhappy and restless and anxious about the future, or they just took responsibility and found an opportunity for themselves to expand themselves and make a difference in society. And the third point is psychological resilience, which pretty much means learning to ride the wave. Good times or bad times, I'll ride the wave. Happiness or sadness, I'll ride the wave. Rain or sunshine, I'll ride the wave. It takes a certain quality of mind to be able to ride the wave. And that quality of mind comes with these techniques that we've been teaching. So that is my story and presentation for you today. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Very inspiring story, very inspiring video. We have a comment from Renee in the chat. Amazing video. I've really seen such a successful bottom-up project through local empowerment. So a very insightful story. And thank you. Thank you very much. I think we have time maybe for one question, and then I would like to give the floor to our next keynote speaker because we are on a tight schedule. I think I'm just receiving very good feedback on the chat. Very impressive work, very impressive. So